with Mars Kumari, and Volume 10 is back yet again to review the new Backwoodz compilation and to share his feelings on the general lack of reception for his most recent album. Mars Kumari is a member of Dälek's Deadverse recordings crew, as well as Bruiser Brigade. We had a really cool talk. I hope you enjoy it.
So, we're live on the mean streets of Antioch in a vegan restaurant, actually.
Yeah, we're up in Go Vegan. Shouts out to Go Vegan.
Yeah, we'll let you know how the meal is, but I have good feelings about it. Okay, yeah, so I was looking at some of the titles of your albums and songs, like Anhedonic Mirages, which, of course, I had to look up what anhedonia actually is, but it's, from what I understand, like a lack of motivation or like an empty feeling, sort of.
It's like basically the inability to experience pleasure.
Okay.
And then thereby anhedonic mirages would probably be like sort of like apparitions that you experience while you're in that, or like apparitions that are the result of that, maybe.
Apparitions could be like thoughts, or
thoughts or hallucinations, concepts, or like just whole other states of consciousness, even.
So like, would you say you have experience with like hallucinations or seeing spirits or something like that, or
maybe not hallucinations. I mean, I definitely, I get really bad intrusive thoughts, and that can sometimes, coincide with that. Or, you can mistake those for hallucinations easy sometimes. Yeah. But, definitely with spirits, I definitely think that my work puts me in contact with a lot of ghosts. Like, even this morning, I was sitting with some ghosts, I would say, just in sampling.
Yeah. And do you actually feel like you have an anhedonia, an inability to experience pleasure?
Maybe not as a medical condition. I definitely.
But just generally, you're
I'm
sort of depressed. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I would say so. For about let's see, I'm 24 right now, so maybe 14 years, maybe.
Yeah, I hear you. You're not alone, of course, and I've suffered myself with plenty of depression throughout my life.
Yeah, it's not horrific at this point. It's just sort of a constant background thing that I kind of have to be aware of. Otherwise, it can get horrific.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, it can get to the point where you don't want to get out of bed type of depression. Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely been a lot of days like that recently.
Yeah.
A lot of hard to get out of bed sort of days.
Yeah, I was recently diagnosed with dysthymia by my therapist.
Ooh, I've heard about that.
Basically just mild depression. But, it's something I've always kind of realized I had, but only recently got it professionally diagnosed, and then decided to experiment with antidepressants for the first time. So I've been on Prozac for 5 months now, 4 or 5 months, and actually feel like it's pretty good for me. I don't know, it's working out.
That's great.
Feeling in better spirits, a little more social, going.
I'm happy you found something that helps you. It can definitely be trial and error.
I'll edit this shit out because this interview is supposed to be out with you, but I just wanted to make you not feel like you're on the spot, me immediately talking about your mental state or whatever.
No, you're all good. I mean, I don't exactly hide it from the music. If anyone were, generally speaking, if someone were to ask me how I'm doing, I'm not gonna give them the full story.
Sure.
Most of the time, but I feel with the music, I kind of have to be a little honest about that. So you know.
Yeah. Would you say your music creation is sort of a cathartic thing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're expressing your inner whatever state of being, and
it's creating worlds from it almost. Yeah. It's catharsis and then world building all at once.
Right. Yeah, I was telling you the other night that I was like trying to kind of wrap my head around your music as far as like, and this is also based on the titles like of some of your tracks, like Comfort in Doldrums specifically, which to me at first I was like, that seems like a contradiction, because like if you're in the doldrums and depressed, that's not comfortable, that's uncomfortable. But there's some weird resonance for me, like that somehow does make sense. So I guess before I go on, like, how would you explain that title?
Well, for that one, it's like when you're in the doldrums, like, yeah, it's as you're sinking, it gets real bad and bad and bad. But you cross a threshold where it's like the act of pulling yourself out of it feels almost harder or more nightmarish than just staying where you are.
Yeah, it's easier to
so
just
there's like a weird
couch,
sort of comfort to it.
Yeah,
it's like not exactly like comfortable, but like it's like more comfortable than like doing something about it.
Right. That's what I was thinking. And then I was thinking it's also probably like part of healing yourself when you're in a depression is like comforting and salving your wounds or whatever. So like you need to comfort yourself so that you can get out of the doldrums almost, right?
Exactly. Like you can't really soldier yourself out of them, because like it just doesn't last. It'll always catch up if you don't really like sit with yourself and like actually try to comfort yourself. I say this and I'm actually terrible at it. Like I am the worst at taking care of myself.
Yeah, well, it's a challenge for most people, I think. But yeah, what I was saying the other night though was like relating to that title. It's like I feel like what your music can do for people maybe is like the ambient noise blanket kind of part feels like this comforting thing, like this comfort blanket, and then the beats feel like, since they're like degraded and not super like in the forefront usually, there's like this uplifting rhythm of the beat that's not disrupting the comfort necessarily, but also could act as like a motivator to like kind of get up out of your doldrums, hopefully, That's what I was like, that's my conception of it, at least. I don't know. Because, what do you think?
I think that's fire. No, I think that's fire. I think I was saying, like when you first mentioned that the other night, I was like, oh yeah, it's like a chainsaw through the blanket,
Right.
Which I think speaks more to like how I'm like treating the drums now than like how I was treating the drums then.
Yeah.
Because like on this new shit, like on I Thought I Lost You, this project for Bruiser Brigade, drums are much heavier.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all good. We're recording all the ambience. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, because that's another question I kind of wanted to ask you about, is like how your music has changed in the last couple of years. Because I noticed just in like the few albums that you have on your Bandcamp, it seemed like a certain kind of progression or transformation of sorts. And then, I did hear one new track from your new album on that interview you did with Cinema Sci.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like you're going, like you say, in a more impactful direction with the drums and stuff. But how would you describe your general progression, and why do you think you've started getting louder drums in your stuff?
Well, I've just been getting booked for like raves and stuff, and the stuff I was making before was just a lot harder to put into a set. For that reason, like it's harder to even like get something like record box or Serato to even notice what's happening with that, because the drums are so buried in the mix, it can't beat match at all, you know? So part of it was that, but also it's like I've just been listening to a lot more of that music, you know, just like really danceable stuff. I've been really getting back into burial recently, and just, you know, I've always wanted to be able to make music like that. I feel like before I was almost like just like really hesitant with the drums and just with a lot of things, and now it's like I can actually kind of like jump into it. But also it's like I'm like, I go back over those albums like In a Dark, Mirages, Elysian Morning, all that, and it's like I like what's there, but like it, because of like what, you know, like what's changed about like what I want in a mix at this point, it just doesn't resonate with me as much. That's also why I'm remastering those ones.
Okay. Speaking of like live performance too, like I've always been a little bit confused of how to enjoy or appreciate or be at a ambient concert or event.
I'm
to me,
right
like,
there with you.
Yeah, and like in a live setting, I usually have been like, well, you want to make people dance or at least, you know, be engaged. And it seems like for ambient music, you need to kind of zone out and just kind of like stand there and listen, right, or let it wash over.
That is kind of how most people experience it, and like that's sort of another reason why I've been veering more towards like louder drums and all that, because like it's, even if like, you know, sitting down and closing your eyes is kind of the natural response to what you're hearing, like when you're on stage, especially when you got something like a 404 and like you're, you know, doing shit with it, looking up and seeing a sea of people like sitting down or like standing with their arms folded, it's not like encouraging, you know? So like I don't really want to do that.
Right. My friend, like when we saw the set the other night, my friend was like, this is not like engaging for your set. Like it's like, look, we're just like all just like standing here moping around. Like this is what a live concert's supposed to be. But I was like,
damn, that's hilarious. I think that's the strongest response I've ever gotten.
Yeah, but, I mean, I tell you that because then I was like, well, maybe, yeah, that's how you're feeling right now, but like probably for a certain mind state like that I can identify with, like if you're not feeling super hyped or happy, like that's kind of like gonna be a pretty inviting space to be in, to just not feel like you have to dance or anything. Like it's okay to just like be there and just stare or whatever. Like, and I think that's like important that there are spaces where people can get together and do that. And then, like I said, like then you drop the beats in there and hopefully kind of, you know, can uplift people a little bit with a little extra energy or something. I don't know. That was how I was looking at it.
Oh, totally. I mean, for what it's worth, since it was only like 30 minutes, and since I think asked to play a lot of original music, it's part of why it felt like that. But usually when I perform, like it's drums, just straight drums. Like it's more like a DJ set.
Yeah. But you said you felt awkward about the. I asked you how you felt about it afterwards, and you said you felt like a little awkward about it. Why did you feel that way?
About what?
Your set, about playing or something.
Oh,
you felt nervous or something.
Oh, I felt nervous. I mean, I always feel nervous, and I always don't really feel like I'm on Earth. Like once I'm done playing, I guess, you know, it's always a little nerve-wracking being perceived by that many people.
Sure.
You know, even if, you know, I feel like I did a good job.
Yeah, it's weird being in the spotlight and having a bunch of people stare at you, I guess. Like, it's hard to know how to act or whatever. Because you have, like, a certain amount of power or whatever.
Right. It's like power I don't really know what to do with. It's why, like, I hardly ever talk when I'm on stage, too. Like, even introducing myself is, like, there's like a 50-50 chance that's going to happen most of the time.
Yeah, I used to perform solo live, and I would always want to hide in a costume and a character. Like, I always had to do that.
Before I transitioned, I used to wear a mask on stage, kind of like Buckethead.
So, speaking of that, like before you transitioned, I was looking for older music. Like, you made music before 2020, right?
And I deleted it. But I made tons of it.
Why'd you delete it, and what did it sound like?
I think it sounded like objectively just like less mature versions of what you can hear that's up now, but like I deleted because it's not me. I didn't make that. Some dead person made that, you know.
Yeah.
It's also why like whenever I'm asked like how did you start or why did you start, it's like I'm not really sure how to answer that. It's like that's a grave I'm reaching into for the answer in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like so much, like, if, like, at least for me, like, I kind of see that whole before I transition as, like, a complete past life in a way. So
right,
it's like,
yeah, I mean, I saw that one title, Twice a Child, and I figured that's what you're kind of getting at. Like, you feel like you've been birthed into a new person or whatever.
Yeah, it's a big, like, same life reincarnation kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's how it sort of feels. And it's like, I don't know. Also, it's like, I don't think what I was doing back then was quite as exciting as what I'm doing now, you know?
Yeah. Would you allow me to, like, hear one track and, like, insert a snippet of in this interview?
Yeah, I could definitely send you some. Like, I've got it, like, on the hard drives and stuff. Like, it's not, like, deleted from existence.
And you can hear this exclusive track in its entirety if you are a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/weirdrap.
Cool. I'm just like, just keeping it under wraps. I mean, I like to sample from it. That's how Anecdotic Mirages was made, was like sampling from shit that I made pre-transition. But I don't know if I would feel comfortable putting those things out wholesale.
Yeah, I hear you.
Did you try your food?
Oh, it's really good, yeah. How's that?
Oh, it's bomb.
Yeah. You should have some of this.
Hell yeah.
I guess I was going to ask you about another title, Elysian Morning. Which kind of seems like it relates to what we were talking about before, but yeah, what would you say? How would you describe that?
I mean, I feel like that's another one of those things where it's like sort of an oxymoron at first glance, you know? It's like, there's nothing Elysian about grief.
Right, because Elysian, I had to look that up too. That's like basically heaven. Elysian Fields, a way to say heaven or something.
Right, I guess it was just, because I mean, like, a lot of titles, like, especially in something like Anecdotic Mirages or that one, they sort of just come to me, and then I have to kind of figure out what they mean later.
Yeah, and it's morning with M-O-U, not M-O-R, just so the listener knows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I guess it's like if I can take the feelings of grief that I was having at the time. Cause I was grieving like a relationship that had just gone out of, but like if I could transmute that into something that was like I felt Elysian to listen to almost.
So another thing that I was thinking about when I was like listening to your stuff the other day was like I know like the term escapism has like a bad connotation, but like I feel like a lot of my favorite art comes from this desire to kind of like to leave the pain and the shitty parts of our reality to like create a new reality. And
everything okay?
Yeah. So I was wondering if you think that your music is at all like an escape for you, or
definitely.
Listener? Yeah,
absolutely. If I didn't have music, I'm not really sure what I would be doing with myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
Even when I'm not making music, like I have to be doing something that's adjacent to it, whether that's like repairing some kind of recording device or like some kind of machine that I might use in my music, or like sampling and like digitizing stuff. I like sampling a lot in like 78 RPM and just like shit that you can't really play normally anymore.
Right.
And you know, like I wasn't making anything today, but I had like a whole like stack of those that like I needed to digitize. And the thing with 78 RPMs, they're only like 3 to 5 minutes on each side, so you can get through them super quick.
Right. So you have a 78 player, so you can play them, right?
Sort of, yeah. I have like a record changer from the 1950s that goes from 16 RPM to 78. It's 4 speeds.
And you just find them in like thrift stores, I guess, or what?
Mm-hmm. They're usually forgotten. They're usually the least picked over, because, like...
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Most people can't play it.
Exactly, and most people don't really seek it out, either. Even, like, other crate diggers, I think.
Yeah, I heard you on that other interview mentioning, like, terming it as archivism. When you digitize them, do you put them online or anything, or are they just more archived for yourself?
I'm trying to put them online. Okay, so I guess this would be the first time I talk about this. I have a second Bandcamp that I've been working on. It's currently private and everything, but it's called the Library of Mars, and it's just like a second Bandcamp account where I'm uploading a lot of these things that I find for like free download, and because it's Bandcamp, you can download in Wave and FLAC and all that stuff. It's because a lot of it is stuff that either is like in public domain at this point, or it's stuff that literally only exists in like the physical recording that I have.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I know what I'm gonna do with those samples, but it doesn't really seem fair to just keep them to myself. Or not even separate from like fairness, it just seems like a waste to keep them to myself, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like a lot of people can make crazy things with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's definitely more of a weird like consumerism and exclusivity around like sampling discourse, you know.
When do you think you're going to make that available to the public?
I don't know, when there's enough books on the shelf. Right now I've only got like 2 records up there.
Okay.
But like, I want it to feel like a library, you know, like once it's open, like there's already like a lot of stuff available to look through.
Well, I'll be hyped personally because I'm always looking for more obscure samples, and the more obscure the better. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you're ever trying to make like drone or ambient type stuff, like strings are always the way. That's like what I always do. It's like sampling some strings off of a 78, because it's all like, it's just compressed in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
You slow it down enough, it becomes a drone.
Right. You mentioned the Caretaker too in the other interview, which I love that. I love that guy.
He's one of my favorites. One of my biggest inspirations, for sure.
Yeah. Who else would you say is a big inspiration? Like, let's
Danny,
just go
course.
for ambient. Who?
Oh, I was gonna say Danny Brown. He's of
Okay.
course like one of my biggest inspirations as a human being.
How would you say he's inspired you?
Well, for one, I feel like his music kind of saved my life at one point when I was younger, like when I was like 16.
Oh.
I was kind of going through a lot, and you know, there was definitely a point where I kind of wanted to just like end my shit.
Yeah.
And his music kind of got me through all that in a way.
Yeah.
And then like also just like getting to know him personally, and like just seeing everything that he is as a person like up close, like you know, it's brought out a lot of admiration and care, I guess.
What's he like in person, would you say?
I mean, he's real cool, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you see him in interviews and stuff, like he's being himself. It's more like maybe he doesn't joke as much, or like doesn't try to like put on a character.
Yeah.
When he's talking to us individually. I mean, like we just talk to each other about life and shit usually.
Especially in his earlier music, I got the idea it's pretty... We shouldn't just talk about Danny Brown because this is your interview, but whatever. I felt like he was pretty like nihilistic, like I don't give a fuck kind of was the vibe in a lot of the lyrics. And I wonder if that's kind of something that you connected with to help you get out of your doldrums, or what do you think it was about the music if that wasn't it?
I mean, it was definitely that. It was definitely kind of like, I just admired how unapologetically himself he was throughout all of that.
Right.
And like having gotten into his music before I could feel the ability to be any kind of person, because I hadn't transitioned or anything like that. Like, I was just really drawn to like how much this man was like the person that he was in a way. But also like you know, I've got family that struggles with addiction and shit too. And like, they were actually kind of an active addiction when a lot of that was happening, or like when I was first exposed to a lot of this music. So it was kind of, in a way, like helping me like make sense of like what I was sort of seeing.
Yeah. Who else would be an influence like in the ambient realm?
Well, shit, he just passed away today. Ryuichi Sakamoto. Rest in peace. He's definitely one of my biggest influences, like, ever.
Wait, what was he part of?
Well, he was a composer. He scored a lot of film. I don't know what...
He's not from YMO, Yellow Magic Orchestra.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But he's done a lot of film scores and ambient stuff.
Yeah, and like Flying Lotus is friends with him.
Okay.
I guess. But yeah, Sakamoto, rest in peace. Definitely a big influence.
I've never listened to a ton of ambient music, but one of my favorites is this one Finesse album, Endless Summer. You heard that one? It's all like based on Beach Boys.
I didn't know about that side of it, but I was actually listening to Endless Summer on the way here.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah, that's my...
I love that album.
Because Sakamoto's on that one, too. Finesse and Sakamoto.
Okay. I didn't realize
It was a collaboration album.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, yeah, Finesse as well. Amazing. Tim Hecker. Harold Budd. He does more, like, beats and stuff, but Esma Harba as well. He's got a lot of cool ambient shit.
Okay. As someone that, really sounds like you're into listening to ambient music, how should someone listen to ambient music? Because I think it's confusing to a lot of people, including myself at times.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I can tell anyone how to listen to anything.
Yeah.
But
how do you
I guess it was...
How do you appreciate it?
For me, it's like... There's a lot to music outside of structure. And, like, with ambient music, I feel like, for the most part, like, your structure is the main thing that you're taking away.
Yeah.
But, like, all this music continues to exist without structure. So, like, you're just taking notice of, like...
There's still tone and harmony sometimes. And
there's still, like, relationships amongst
textures.
The sounds. It just sort of unfolds in a maybe more natural way, I guess, or, like, in a way that feels more natural. It's like, if you go into it expecting something specific, you might find yourself feeling something besides that, I guess.
Yeah, because it's less intrusive. Like, you have to kind of bring your own
it's like a sensory
feelings to it. Yeah.
Kind of step inside of it.
It's seeming like ambient and rap music has been on the rise recently. Like, even if you look at the way drums have dropped out of a lot of rap music, and then certain artists, you'll hear a straight up ambient rap. It hasn't really gone there for the most part too much, but I feel like we've been heading there for a while, which I think is pretty awesome. Like, it's new, sort of, even though people like Dälek have been doing it for a while.
Content in simple earthly pleasure, meaning only in breath you censor. Walk amongst the blessed, digress into false posture to assume role of co-walker. I seek my lost muse. What must she feel right this instant? Does my name even bring about vague, distant memories? Blurry, bloodshot eyes scan that familiar candlelit room. I am consumed by these questions, all too often upon my sad, weary tongue. Perhaps you will visit me here again someday. I am not the one she remembers.
But that brings me to Deadverse. Are you still part of that collective?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Pretty much from the outset, Dälek told me that being part of Deadverse, like, he still wants me to, like, be able to accept whatever opportunities come my way and like make whatever relationships I feel like making in the music, you know. And that doesn't mean parting ways and anything.
Cool. How did you originally link up with Dälek?
I sent him my music after Elysian Morning dropped. So like sometime like in May of 2021. And I'm honestly still like surprised that like he was like as into it as he was. Like he caught both of my albums from Bandcamp like right then. Like he like sent me like a playlist and stuff too, like and like all this other stuff he was listening to. It was a lot of like really cool like experimental electronic music from Europe. And yeah, you know, we were just like in contact for a while, and then like
that was just sometime in the last couple of years though, right?
Yeah, that was 2021, and then later in 2021, off of Bandcamp Friday, I just like cobbled together a bunch of beats that I had on my hard drive and made the first version of Mars Kumari type beat. Yeah. And then Mr. Brooks heard that and he was like, "Yo, this is dope. You know, this is crazy." And I mentioned like, yeah, like I've always been a big fan of yours. You know, I would be honored to like work together in some.
Wait,
capacity.
Mr. Brooks, who's that?
Dälek.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my bad. I call him Mr. Brooks. Yeah, he was down to put out my album. He said he liked the fact that I like just asked straight up, and I'm realizing in retrospect that was pretty bold. But I don't know. I just gotta show my shit, you know. Yeah,
and so you've been a part of not only Deadverse, now you're obviously part of Bruiser Brigade, and then what about is it I'll Never Die? Is that the name of the other crew that you've been part of?
Yeah, I actually it's been a little while since I've been in I'll Never Die. I was in there for about 6 months, and you know, creative differences. Okay.
We won't go there.
No, you're good. It was creative differences.
I I only recently got into June's music a little bit. I really like vocal delivery is pretty awesome, I think.
They're awesome. They're a very good friend of mine. I've really loved like the flips they've been doing recently. Like they've sort of like carved out their own style.
I need to dip more into their discography, but
know my body, nigga, here I do exist. You get the gist. Don't give your word when push comes shove and plead the fifth. I've been around the jungle, no nigga taking my bliss. I've been in this as a chick, give me my chips. Coordinated like pops, I'm on my shit. We on the porch with it. We on the porch, getting favored by the sunlight.
When should people look for your new album?
Well, I'm hoping to have it out in the summer. Danny did just start treatment like a few weeks ago. You know, just giving him some space and like we're probably gonna like pick things back up once he's recovered. Okay. But I'm working on another album with my friend Breeze from Los Angeles. That's BRZ.
And this track, which will come out in the future, but possibly in a slightly different form, you can hear in its entirety at patreon.com/weirdrap.
Very talented multi-instrumentalist, singer, producer. Just absolute ray of sunshine as a person.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Anything else that people need to know?
I don't know. I really like rabbits.
Now, this is an exclusive preview of Mars Kumari's forthcoming album on Bruiser Brigade. This track is called Bed of Black Roses, and it features Fatboy Sharif.
Creative powers possession. held this world weight on my shoulders, allegiance. Heaven side, a nowhere pressure point. Search for gold. Reached out to my mother in the red dress requiem. Explore pages. Arc of fame. Children kept quiet. All to world secretly afraid. Color of chaos, spirit palm trees. UFO theorize on the color of God's feet. Saw them my tears.
And one more thing I want to mention that is available only to the Patreon subscribers. I've been doing something every Wednesday called Weird Wednesdays. It is a non-recorded Zoom call for about an hour. I invite special guests, rappers that I look up to, and we talk. We share music, and we discuss it, or sometimes we talk about stuff that's not even related to music at all. Probably the highlight for me was just the other day introducing Volume 10 to Nosage of New Kingdom and getting them each familiar with each other's music and seeing them really vibe with each other and talk about collaborating in the future. We've had people like Coin Locker Kid, Dakuma, Azarius, Beverly Fresh, Do Normal, Andrew Mbaruk, and more. You never know who's going to show up. But I think it's a pretty special thing, and you can be part of it for only $3 at patreon.com/weirdrap. And here I am with Volume 10, Los Angeles underground rap legend, member of the Heavyweights and Goodlife crews, and kind of an asshole. Now, if you prefer, I can be a bunny avatar if it makes you more comfortable.
I don't know what that means. You could turn yourself into a bunny?
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, you know.
Whatever's better for you.
You know, that's a hard decision there, bro.
Not sure which one's cuter?
I'm cool. I can hang with the real Jonah. It's fine.
All right. First, let's talk about the music that I sent you. The Backwoodz compilation, new compilation that just came out called High Bias. What'd you think of it?
So, first of all, I'm wondering how come my background's not showing?
Yeah, there's some option where you can have your background blurred.
Okay, how can I unblur it? Do you know?
It doesn't matter. What do you want me to see your
I
house?
have a nice apartment. I wanted to show it off, man. You know what I mean?
I already saw your Instagram post about it.
My MTV cribs.
Oh, you mean you want to show the public? Yeah. Well, we might publish the video. This is mainly for audio, but we'll see. Yeah, maybe I'll publish the video.
Okay. Well,
anyways, get over your fucking apartment.
Why are we looking at each other then? Why did I shave then? You made me why do I have a clean shirt on?
Don't ask me.
You're wasting my time, bro. Okay, let's move on.
Good general practice anyway. So come on, man. What do you think of this album, this compilation?
So, I mean, it was okay, man. The thing that I don't like is when these albums are not mixed well. You know, back in the day, it was something that we dealt with because we all had shitty ass equipment at home, you know, or our friends had bullshit ass equipment in the beginning of hip hop and in the beginning of digital beats or whatever. But at this point, everyone has what they need to mix these songs well, you know? And I don't know. I think maybe sometimes it's just a preference because some people like the vocals to be bled into the music.
Yeah.
And some people like those vocals right on top so they can hear everything clearly.
Right.
I think sometimes the producers are in charge and they care more about the music than the delivery of the artist.
Would you say the vocals sound they're quiet in general on this compilation?
I want the vocals to be the main subject matter. And a lot of times, so you're going to pick your teeth, so that's pretty gross.
There's a dried fig in there.
Maybe I should go back to the fucking bunny rabbit, bro. You put the bunny rabbit up. If you're showing me bunny rabbit and you pick your teeth, does the bunny rabbit pick the teeth too?
No, the bunny doesn't even have hands.
Yeah, for this project, man, I think that especially those type of beats, there were a lot of beats on there that was busy and had a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away.
All right. You made your point.
Okay, well, besides that, I believe the music scheme was kind of dope. The vibe of the album was dope.
Mm-hmm.
The jazziness of all of the tracks or most of the tracks kind of put you in a cool ass mood. At the same time, when I could hear what they were saying some potent things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My favorite song, which was mixed well, was number 6.
Oh yeah, it's called Mescalito remix.
Yeah, that song was pretty dope. It was that's
the one that's kind of like drum and bass, right? It's
right. But it also sounded hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too on the album.
Crack the time capsule where I bury all my mestical. Next to dusty rap books, parchment all original. Fighter's Hazel's pull as he tries to reach the here and now. Burn the green Riddler, any less is purely criminal.
Trip the Mescalito, I can swim. Cup runneth over past the brim. Exchanging knowing grin like that's a win. Loose clippings plastered around the den. I gaze upon it all but never glance within. Roots so dry and fibrous, trying to be fly vibrant. By and by, should've known that's just the way the tide went. Fight the fear, just never conquer it. Now that I've had a chance to ponder it, best describe him as despondent. Hard to chart for the records, however obvious the trails persist. However moderate, your fate is held within the frailest wrist. Make of it what you wanna. Just saying you don't got a doctorate. Brought up the duality, man. Every time you gotta split, it seems the Mescalito dropped a hint. You should probably check that ego. We can see right through the tint.
It definitely was not overproduced. It was mixed, I believe, well. And I like the subject matter. I believe the subject matter was basically talking about police brutality. It hit home. It hit home.
Cool. Yeah, I wasn't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying I haven't listened to this album enough to properly absorb. I think that it is an artistic choice, the way that they make it sound a bit low fidelity, but yeah, it didn't strike me in the ways that it did you as like being too muddy or anything, or too quiet vocals, but I'll listen back to it and see what I think now that you said that. Yeah, I think these are some of the best lyricists on here. Billy Woods especially is one of my favorites. He's featured on the song you mentioned, Mescalito, which is a Shrapnel song, remixed by DJ Haram. Definitely one of the standouts for me. I also really loved track 8, which is an Arm & Hammer track called Tar Baby. This guest vocalist named Mattie, Mattie. It's really out of the ordinary.
I checked on it over the years past. It's never nothing new. It's never nothing new. There by the greatest God, go you know who. If I'ma tell it, I'ma tell the truth.
Elevate the pictures. and hoes and polyester. Big ass actions, you won't pass
Didn't ask to be here, fully loaded. You can't choose your family. 80s baby raised in the candy.
Had to go check out Maddie's music after that, and they seem like a really interesting artist. Generally, I got lots of respect for Billy Woods. This is also his label, Backwoodz. And I also wanted to mention him because he put out this book this month. It's a children's book called The ABCs of Anarchism, and I really enjoyed it. I gave away my copy to my friends that have like a 2-year-old, and I'm going to get another copy and give it to my nephew. But yeah.
Yeah, because the 2-year-old, he could definitely read it, right?
Not yet, but parents can read it to him until he's old enough, or she. But did you listen to the other thing I sent you?
No, what was the other thing?
Oh, I sent you my own album that came out a couple weeks ago.
No, I didn't know. See, you didn't mention it.
Well, I texted it to you. I said, listen to this too if you feel like it.
Well, we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, besides that, let's just catch up with you, how you been since our album came out. You were talking about...
You said you had something else to talk to me about too. What else was there?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was it. I wanted to talk about, like, since our album came out, Volume 10 is Dean Hawkins, which I produced 6 of the 9 tracks on it. It was mostly just ignored by the public, even though it came out on Alpha Pup Records. No one seemed to really notice that it came out, or if they did, they just didn't care. So I don't know. I think you were kind of bummed by the lack of response, and I saw you making some posts about how you think you're just going to retire from rapping. So I thought this was interesting stuff to talk about that you don't normally hear rappers talk about.
Well, I went left, you know? I mean, I went left of my normal sound. It was some experimental type of hip hop, especially for me. You know what I mean? I mean, heck, I did a punk song on it. You know what I mean?
Fantasizers. I need my riders, crucifiers, the haters, citers, dividers, set them up. They're liars, let me go. As soon as I be feeling better, then I'll let you know. I need my freedom fighters. I need my freedom fighters. I need my freedom fighters. I need my freedom fighters.
You know, and then with Night Creep on there, and also singing on some songs.
Yeah, it's not what people would expect from you if they're familiar with your shit.
They wouldn't expect it, and my regular fan would probably not want to patronize it. It was a little bit more of a rock album, I guess.
Did you get any negative feedback, though? Did you hear anyone say, this wasn't the Volume 10 I wanted?
You know, yeah.
You did?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, they said it differently, like, fuck that singing shit, dog, you know, like that. But, yeah, the other thing, though, is that there was a lot of new fans that were really excited about it. There's like, well, who's the guy who's putting out the tape?
Oh, yeah. Elwood and 12-Man Rambo.
Okay.
That's the name of the guys that run the label, and that's just the name of their label as well, apparently.
12-Man Rambo, you know, and a lot of people, more than I would expect, I think, were very excited about it, and he's one of them, and he's putting out the album as a tape cassette.
Yeah, and we should announce that hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, he'll actually have it up on Bandcamp, and then the tape is going to come out eventually. But yeah, I don't know why you didn't put this album out on Bandcamp either.
Why would he? I don't think he should be doing it.
Oh, you don't want him to? I thought you said it was fun.
We said the tapes. I didn't know we were giving him permission to put it out on Bandcamp.
I mean, I told him he should do it on Bandcamp too.
Why?
Because I thought I discussed it with you.
Is he going to pay us?
Yeah, I assume so.
Well, you assume so. We'll talk about that after the.
All right.
After this.
Well, go if you're hearing this now. Go see if the album is on Bandcamp in any capacity. It's called Volume 10 As Dean Hawkins. Hopefully, Dino, you'll put it on your own Bandcamp by the time this comes out. Anyway.
Sure, I will.
All right.
Sure will. So, but as far as me, I mean, I do have a show coming up. The end of the month. I just did a pop-up show for Duke of Cycle Realm last week, and it went pretty good, man.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it.
He's always got these fine nurses.
Nurses?
Yeah, the prettiest, finest, man. Oh my goodness, she was gorgeous. But anyway.
All right, whatever. Cut that out too.
This was just whatever. Okay, whatever to you, man. You know,
so why'd you decide not to retire?
Well, you know, it's you get so bitter at the thing, you know what I mean? And to the point where, you know, it's just like a bad relationship, you know, that you should have fucking broke off years ago. But what happens is the game, after you get salty at it, it throws you a bone. And then it makes you fucking like kind of wake up out of your hatred and realize you love the thing again. You know what I mean? Blue from Blue in Exile.
Yeah.
Blue hit me up and asked me to get on a couple songs with him. And him being interested kind of gave me some juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And made me feel real respected. You know what I mean? It inspired me the way he came at me. We're actually doing the song. We both got hired for this show that we're doing on the 29th in Arizona. It's called the Trill Anniversary.
Okay.
You know what Trill is?
No. In Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what that is?
I mean, I know what the word means, but I don't know the event itself.
So there's
Actually, I don't know what the word even means.
I don't think I know what it is either.
Who else is playing? Anyone else you can think of?
Yeah, so Blue in Exile, Freestyle Fellowship.
Oh, yeah.
Supernatural, Medusa. My wife's going to be performing there as well, Tamiko. Right.
I guess I did want to mention, as you are kind of considering quitting rapping and then deciding that you're going to keep going, this label now putting out the new album. Another kind of bright spot in the future is we're talking about doing a European tour. There's some interest out there, it seems. But if anyone listening wants to see Volume 10 on tour in Europe, like, let us know where you're at. And if you have any, whatever, booking contacts or anything that we should know about.
I've never been out of the country, so that would be dope.
Yeah. Anything else people need to know? How much weed did you smoke today?
Why are you in my business?
Because you're talking like people are going to have to put this in like 3 times speed in order to just not fall asleep.
So, yeah, you know what the problem is?
What?
I've kind of stopped smoking and now I do edibles.
Yeah.
And the edibles are a lot stronger than the fucking weed, bro. So, yeah, I think maybe I might be a little bit over medicated. You know,
Yeah.
you probably could have mentioned it a long time ago. I might have been able to step it up a little bit. But you said it at the end of the fucking thing.
I didn't want to be rude, but then I finally was like, fuck it.
I mean, you're an asshole, bro. How you gonna just run from that, man? You know what I'm saying? Just do the things.
I'm trying to be a nicer person.
What?
I'm trying to be a more like positive person.
Nah, bro. I mean, you got to be you. I guess that's what you learned right there. Is like, no matter how much you want to do the right thing, you know, your true self is going to pop out of there. Yeah. Might as well just go for it right in the fucking beginning. It would have saved all these people wondering what the fuck was going on with Volume 10.
You're right. You're right. That's what my therapist said. I shouldn't hold things in as much.
For what reason?
Because I have a tendency to just hold stuff in instead of like saying it. If I feel like there's something off or I'm uncomfortable, I tend to not want to make waves.
Yeah, I think that's like the white person in you. Whereas black people don't give a fuck, man. We're going to tell you exactly how the fuck we feel. I guess we've been silenced for so many years. Now that we, you know, for the most part, we're not going to get killed for the shit that we say. We got a lot to fucking say. You know what I mean? You know, white people don't seem like they want to really start too much shit. They kind of, I guess you guys feel like you've created enough bullshit now. It's just, we can all chill out.
I mean, I don't know if it's that simple. I think there's plenty of mouthy white people out there, and there's also plenty of black people that hold their tongues.
I guess so. I guess you're right. I was trying to find that darn flyer because there was some other people on there. It was pretty packed.
Well, I can edit it in.
That would be dope if you edited it in. That would be dope.
All right, so the Trill 4-year anniversary, Saturday, April 29th, features the acts that 10 mentioned plus Mystic Journeyman. Sunday, the next day, features Cannibal Ox, Crimson Gods, Afro Classics, and Elda Sensei. All right, that's it?
I mean, I guess so, bro. You know, got the show coming up. I've done a few songs with Blue. I think Madlib did at least one of the tracks.
Nice.
You know, I'm still holding on to this expensive ass apartment. If you have work, please send it. I need all the work I can get.
Yeah, you're available for features, paid features. Hit them up on the socials.
Yeah, hit me up on Volume 10. What is it? Dino Volume 10 Hawkins.
We made those T-shirts too. Can people still get those?
Can people still get what?
The T-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and hats. And
we have to talk about that.
Okay. Well, you might be able to find those online.
Dino Dwayne Hawkins on Facebook. Those are my primary social media. I don't really mess around too much more. I should, but I don't. Maybe next time we talk, we could talk about your album. I wish you would have told me. I would have listened to it.
I did tell you, goddammit.
You told me to listen to him, and you didn't tell me it was your album.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I got that last text.
I'll read it to you. It says, listen to a little bit of this too if you feel like it. It's my new album that came out a couple weeks ago.
And if you would have said it was yours, I would have listened to it.
It says it's my new album.
Oh, okay.
How else do I say
maybe
it?
I didn't read that part. My bad. My bad, bro.
All good.
So yeah, please stop smoking marijuana. Start eating edibles. It's much healthier for you.
Maybe get some edibles that don't taste so good though, so you don't want to eat so many of them.
Yeah, most of them taste like shit anyway to me, bro. Like just shit with sugar all over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You should cut that shit down to like half of whatever you're doing.
half of whatever I did.
Yeah.
All I have to do is be reminded that I'm talking slow, and maybe you could fucking, have a good interview. You're like, this dude is really stoned. I'm just going to sit here and watch him fuck his career off.
Most people listen to podcasts and fast forward anyway.
You can fast forward it.
Most people listen in like 1.5 speed, or a lot of people do. I do.
You can actually do that?
Yeah. People got no attention spans. People got a lot of podcasts they got to get through.
Yeah, I don't think I want you to do that. But maybe I'll think about just dosing myself in the mornings when I have shit to do in the afternoon.
Sure,
this is the second dose, bro. This is the second dose.
Wait till the sun goes down, then take your heavy dose.
I don't know about that. No, I think I need a dose like a 20 milligrams in the morning so that I fucking have a good day.
Sativa for the daytime, though, maybe. Sativa in the daytime, indica at night?
No, actually, it's the milligrams.
Okay, but whatever. I don't know, man. Indica makes you more tired, I think.
So, I mean, that's true, but it doesn't matter what it is. If it's good, it's going to fuck you up and make you slower.
Yeah.
That's it. I take gel capsules, you know what I mean? So they have what they would consider mind and the body, right? And so...
Okay, no one cares about this.
They both make you stupid. You know what I mean? Right. And fucking slow, so it doesn't fucking matter,
I get the
bro.
point.
That's my point.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, you're a little bit rude, right?
Yeah, I know.
You're an asshole, bro.
So are you. I mean, it only comes out because you're the biggest asshole I know.
It's you.
You get back what you put out.
That's such bullshit, man. That's bullshit what you do.
I mean, you've been polite on this interview, but when the mics are off, everyone should know you're a fucking asshole.
I don't know about that, bro.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
So yeah, I'm good for about 10 or 20 milligrams, but right now I'm probably on 50. Yeah, something else.
All right. So, yeah, on that note, let's quit while we're ahead.
All right, man.
All right.
Been good talking to you, bro.
Yep. Later. Thank you for listening. I recently had to pay for a $6,000 medical bill for my dog's operation. She is recovering safely, but that was quite a big hit. So if anyone would like to go to WeirdRap.com, we got Ram LZ records, we got Cool Keith shirts, we got Staple Mouth records and tapes, we got Sensational CDs, and more. You can also visit patreon.com/WeirdRap for 2 exclusive Mars Kumari tracks and the bonus episode in which I will recommend a bunch of new music. You'll also get all the old Weird Rap bonus episodes featuring exclusive interviews with some of your favorite artists for 3 measly bucks. Patreon.com/WeirdRap. You can message me at WeirdRap3000@gmail.com. You want to leave a rating or review, that's always appreciated. You can do that at WeirdRap.com/rating. Well, let's see if there's any new reviews. Nope. Nothing since November. Till next time, boycott Amazon. Don't start forest fires. And hug your child.